Welcome to Quiet Math YouTube channel. Parkland shooting. We've had some interesting visual developments on today, December 28, 2018. But before we get to this new in-school footage, I want to take you back just a little tiny trip down memory lane. Remember what these eyewitnesses said back in February?
Just 1 week ago, Valentine's Day, creative writing teacher Stacey Lippel's class was playing music, writing love letters, when the fire alarm went off. As students filed into the hallway, she heard gunfire. The killing had begun.
I was about 2 feet away from my door. All of a sudden I heard gunshots in the stairwell, which is about 20 feet away from my room. And then kids were screaming and then running back towards me and towards the end of the hallway. So I just went in this very strange autopilot mode where I pivoted on my feet. I unlocked my door, and the kids just started pouring in my room. I don't know how many kids were in there, but I was pulling them and getting them in and shouting at them to get in the room. And then I suddenly saw the shooter about 20 feet from me, standing at the end of the hallway, actively shooting down the hallway, just a barrage of bullets. And I'm staring at him thinking, why is the police here? This is strange, because he's in full metal garb, helmet, face mask, bulletproof armor, shooting this rifle that I've never seen before.
Okay, so you heard her, right? You heard her description, which was given by an eyewitness who says she was within 20 feet of the shooter. That was early February 2018. This is late 2018, December. Today's date, 12/28. This just premiered hours ago on the news.
Palmieri for us tonight. Tara, thank you. News tonight about the high school massacre in Parkland, Florida. A new report highlighting major failures by police and school officials as Nicholas Cruz, armed with an AR-15, you see him there, stalked the halls of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. A safety committee.
And you see our guy right there. The guy that inflicted so much horrible death and destruction upon students and the aftermath of their families and whatnot. There he is right there. And what do we see? Or better yet, what do we not see? We don't see that mask. We don't see that helmet. We don't see anything that the lady, Lippel, creative arts teacher, just described back in February. And I'll play you the rest of this report here. And I got another eyewitness for you just after this.
The commission expected to criticize the school for its response as the danger unfolded on campus. Here's ABC's Kenneth Moen.
Tonight, these chilling images of Nicholas Cruz just before his deadly assault on Stoneman Douglas High School. The Sun Sentinel posted this video showing a freshman walking past the 19-year-old as he pulled out an assault rifle. It's all part of a comprehensive report on the deadliest high school shooting in U.S. history. 17 students and staff killed.
If we can't protect our children in schools, then who can we protect?
That state commission highlighting security failures, including routinely unlocked doors and gates, allowing Cruz to get inside.
That door was unlocked and unstaffed, and we say that that is a security failure.
No PA system in the halls or outside to warn students and staff, seen here that day crammed into a hallway. Inadequate outside video cameras, one of them capturing that school resource officer taking cover outside instead of confronting Cruz. That report also says a campus security monitor didn't call a code red after seeing Cruz with a rifle bag. That commission will release its recommendations to Florida's governor next week. Tom?
Kenneth Moen with the new images from that horrific shooting. Kenneth, thank you. And the scare.
You heard it right there, and this is from today, 12/28. New images. New images. This is ABC News with, I think his name's Tommy Yanis, filling in for David Muir. I'm sure David Muir's off for the holiday break. Nevertheless, there's that new footage from inside the school, right there in front of you. As that was from today's ABC News, this is from back in February ABC News. We already went over Stacey Lippel, the language arts teacher, who described right here what we've seen in the initial part of this video. In the second paragraph from the top there, Lippel said the shooter Could be a police officer because of the way he was dressed. Full metal garb, complete with helmet, face mask, bulletproof armor. Well, is Stacey maybe a little bit crazy? Because we can see that looks nothing like the footage that was released today. Although we have a second on-scene eyewitness right here, detailed in the Miami Herald. I'll try to put the links in the description. This again back from early 2018 in February. This teacher thought it was a drill, but then heard the shooting. He kept students safe. His name, Rospierski, we'll call him. And you see at the bottom paragraph here, was locked out of his classroom. So Rospierski pushed 8 kids into a 2.5-foot alcove by the classroom door. He desperately tried to keep the students out of the line of fire. He saw the shooter approach wearing a helmet and a mask. He didn't know it at the time, but the gunman was a former student. Of course he didn't know it at the time. The guy was wearing a mask. The guy was wearing a mask. The shooter was wearing a mask. So that's 2 people now. And she was within 20 feet describing a shooter, full metal garb, and mask. Which, as I said, is the exact opposite of what we see here today. From today's new release. So you tell me, is there a conspiracy on the truth here? They talk about this detailed report they're putting out. Well, you know, it's kind of funny that ABC News can't chime in and say, hey, we got a couple eyewitnesses who are right there on the scene whose stories and descriptions of the shooter drastically differ from today's footage. And the funny thing is today's footage also backs up the fact this is what our shooter looks like when he was arrested. Sure looks a lot like the same guy. The same guy we see right here. Maroon polo. Looks like he's got a ball cap on and a big old gun in a backpack. So what really happened on this day? Was there 2 shooters? Or is it something much bigger and much darker going on? Furthermore, none of this fails to even address the fact that the Parkland shooter spoke of voices. There's article after article about that same maroon shirt wearing assassin hearing voices. You know, which is funny because that's a lot like the Denver theater Batman movie day Aurora theater shooter who also heard voices, which is a lot like, you guessed it, the warehouse shooter who said he heard voices, which is even more similar to the Boston Marathon bomber, or one of them anyway, that said he heard voices. What you doing, dog? You coming in here? I'll let you out. All of which falls directly in line with this article from 2007. You go to the bathroom. It's cold out here. Letting the dog out. From Wired Magazine, wrote this article about this machine or a voice only you can hear. DARPA's new sonic projector. All of which will hopefully be another video down the line. All of which being a good subject matter for a future video. So if you want to all come aboard the spaceship of truth, come subscribe right here to the Quiet Math YouTube channel where you get that white, hot, hard truth, at least as I see it. And I'm always open for debate. Hit me up in the comment section. Like I said, I'll try to put the links in the description. But you tell me, Parkland shooting, is there a conspiracy on the truth? Because the evidence just doesn't stack up, especially when they talk about detailed reports that don't even mention the actual detail. Anyhow, with that being said, Quiet Math YouTube, the saga continues. Come on, dog. It's cold out. Let's go in.